All right, Luke, keep the motor churning here. How about this for a potential fight announcement? Not only is Alexander Volkanovski your UFC featherweight champion, God, he wants all the smoke, Luke. Max Holloway for a third time as soon as July 2nd, according to reports. I saw Brett Okamoto was all over this. Ariel was reporting it too. Luke, Volkanovski, Holloway 3.
Hell yeah.
We thought we were going to have it until Max had to pull out. How about this turnaround for the champ, dude? This, like,
love it.
Damn, man.
Love it. Love it. Let me tell you why I love this fight so much. You can say what you want about how the first fight should have been scored and how it was scored. You can say the exact same thing for the second.
How many times should you watch it before you say something about it, though?
50+1. But what I do want to be, if I can make a point seriously for just a second, the reason why this fight is so intriguing to me is because when you think about it, even though he made the biggest adjustment between the first and the second fight in Max Holloway still has the most adjustment that he needs to make because as good as you may have thought that he fought in the second fight, it was not good enough to get the judges to be convinced. And so now he is quite literally down 0-2. Why do I bring all of this up? Because what I love about this is Volkanovski basically told me in New York on the other side of the water, where you're going to land that plane, Sully, he told me quite explicitly, like, my style encompasses, I can do a lot with it. He didn't make a whole lot of changes from the first to the second fight, and I don't think he'll make a whole lot from the second to the third. Some fine tuning, but not much.
Yeah.
It is Max and his team that have the largest creative challenge here. And let me say this, I think people have slept on the fact that Gracie Technics and Ivan Flores, his guys, they don't ever do interviews, they don't ever seek the limelight. They are some of the smartest fighters and fight coaches in the world, to the point where Eugene Behrman has very much tipped his cap to how smart they are. This is on Max, not just to win it, but he has the creative challenge here to figure this out. It is actually Volkanovski who can play prevent defense if he wants. Max has to solve this riddle, and no one can do it for him.
So the cool part about this fight, it was happening so quickly, and we saw that board over Dana White's shoulder on that Ryan Clark podcast. Now Ariel's saying maybe that was filmed a few weeks ago, so this didn't look like it was in the plans for International Fight Week. Now it is. I don't know what that means for Hamzat or even Cannonier Adesanya, which I think is still being targeted for that date. But Luke, here's what's great about it. Volkanovski's just coming off the best version of him we've ever seen against the Korean Zombie, where he just took it to another level. 2 fights ago, Max Holloway had the same type of performance against Calvin Kattar, where if this third fight was happening directly after the Calvin Kattar fight, where Holloway's just flowing and setting records for punches landed and all that, how much differently do you think about who potentially wins this third fight, because Max had that fight of the year contender in between against Yair Rodriguez, where even though he won the fight and did brilliant things to do that, he was in a fight. I mean, we haven't seen him in that type of fight in a while.
Yeah, listen, Max has a lot of wear and tear.
So do you think that changes the way you look at it? If this was after the Kattar fight, would you be thinking differently?
Yeah, I think we've made the point, like, it has a little bit of Triple G Canelo in it, where you could argue, maybe you thought Max did better the second time, but the point is there was a draw in the first case of the Canelo Triple G, then Canelo won, and now we're in a third one, but by the time you get the third one, Triple G is much older than he was in the first one. Yes, of course, both have aged the same, but one has aged into a prime, one has aged out of it. That would be the difference. You'd have to ask yourself if that's the case with Volkanovski and Max. I would not think so. I don't think it operates along those lines. But I do think that there is no way to say anything other than Max has taken a lot of damage in his career. The second Poirier fight is a fucking brutal affair. And certainly this last one against.
But he takes damage and wins. The Ortega fight, in which he
Ortega took the worst damage.
Obviously, and that's how the finish happened. What I'm saying is, Max, even against Aldo, he had to walk through some shit.
Yes, so Max has been extremely resilient. Please don't misunderstand me. He is I don't know if he's a dog or not, but he is very much in play to win this contest. But if I am asked to draw one clear distinction between them, it is that the amount of damage Max has taken over the course of his career, it is a potential difference maker in ways it is not for Volkanovski.
I don't want to hold that against Max too much, because styles make fights. Your motivation might be different. You would want to have the same energy, but your motivation might be different against Yair Rodriguez than in a third fight with Volkanovski. And the reason why I have so much confidence in Max regardless is the changes he made stylistically in the second fight showed me that he realized he's fighting a different animal. He realized he was going to have to try to think like this different animal. And the way Max was able to give me a chance watching it live, going, damn, I think Max just won that, showed me that he can play chess with Volkanovski. I don't know if
he can.
I don't know if he is as good, and if he ends up losing 3 in a row, it's like, what are we going to say? Volkanovski's, he's the better man.
This is what Max is up against. The first time he had the lowered stance, and he went after Volkanovski, couldn't quite catch him. In the rematch, he stood tall and waited for the pressure, and had, I thought, a little bit better success, certainly in that first round, but not enough over the course of the fight. He has to have a strategy, not only enough to make impact early, he has got to find a way to win rounds late. That has been a bit of a problem for him.
But what about this wild card? This is the most offensive we've seen Volkanovski
Yes.
in terms of intention.
Yes.
In terms of intention,
And that creates
I want to
problems.
show you that I'm well-rounded. I want to show you that I'm a finisher, not just a 5-round master. It could be a different guy. That's why when you have these great rivalries, and this is a weird one, right? Because again, the one guy won twice, but obviously there's disputed scorecards in there. When it can happen over different eras of the same era, but different chapters, and they're different fighters, and there's different stakes. I mean, this is going to be this. Even if Alex gets 3 wins, this is going to be a memorable rivalry historically.
Yes.
Like this will, this is very high level stuff, and I'm very much looking forward. And sometimes, Luke, the third one ends up being crazier because they're a little bit older, or their intentions change, or they're maybe they're just angry. Remember Marquez bulked up against Pacquiao, after feeling like
When he flatlined him?
Yeah, you never know.